Welcome to the Marketing Gym Solutions 8 Steps to Grow Your Business Using Social Media workshop. My name is Michelle Davis and I am the CEO of Marketing Gym Solutions, and I am so excited to present this workshop for you today. So you may be wondering, well, who exactly is this workshop for? Well, this workshop is for small business owners that either are struggling trying to figure out how to leverage social media for their business, or business owners that are kind of using social media already, but they're not seeing the results that they'd like to see on social media. So if either one of those descriptions describe you, then you're in the right place. This is very, very much a social media one-on-one type of workshop. So here's what you'll learn in this workshop today. You'll learn how to choose your social media platform, how to optimize your social media profile, how to create a posting schedule, how to post on social media, how to engage with your followers, how to find and follow the right people, how to use hashtags, and how to experiment with your content to figure out what's most engaging for your ideal audience. So before we hop into today's content, I just want to share a little bit about who Marketing Gym Solutions is as a company. So we are a business and social media consulting agency helping small business owners leverage social media and create business systems to launch, manage, and grow their business. So you can always learn more about Marketing Gym Solutions at marketinggymsolutions.com, or you can follow us on Facebook or Instagram, and our username is Marketing Gym Solutions. So when we think about social media, we need to put into our mindset that on any given day, billions and billions of people frequent the various social media platforms each day. So social media platforms like Facebook has 2 billion daily active users. Twitter has approximately or around 330 million users. And Instagram has 1 billion users. And you may be wondering, well, why are these statistics important? Well, these statistics are important because I want to make one powerful point. Your customers and potential customers are definitely on at least one, if not more, of these different social media platforms. And with such a staggering number of people using social media every day, it is one of the most powerful ways to grow your business. Social media allows you to attract new customers and connect with audiences in a way like we've never been able to do this before. So like, let's say 20 years ago, businesses did not have access to social media to really grow their business. So the power of social media is truly amazing because you can reach someone, on the next block, or you can reach someone, from around the world. And it's the fastest way for you to establish yourself, not only as a brand, but also as a thought leader in your industry. So when you think about using social media, there's some realities that can come to mind and some questions that you may have, such as, well, what is the best platform to use? What strategies should you use to be seen by most people? Are there certain types of content that perform better than others? How can you regularly post content? And what kind of etiquette rules do you need to follow? Well, one of the things that many business owners tend to do is they think of social media as something that they can just start posting on, and they'll be successful and attract new customers if they just post enough, or if they just post every day, or if they just post several times a day. And that's really not how it works for business when you use social media for your business. In order to build your business through social media, you need to have a strategy in place. So you need to know where you're going to post, what you're going to post, and you need to know how often you're going to post. It's important to have a strategy for engaging with your audience. Simply put, you need to have a plan. And without a definitive plan for how you're going to use social media, you probably won't get the results that you want. However, if you have a plan, you'll find yourself quickly building an audience. So in this workshop, I'll go step by step to give you a social media strategy for growing your business on social media. And I'll guide you through the what, the why, the how, and by the end of this workshop, you will have a firm plan in place. So the only question I have is, are you ready? Step 1, choose your platform. So this is probably the number one thing I struggled with when I first started using social media for business, because I thought the more platforms I was on, I was on Twitter, I was on Facebook, I was on LinkedIn, I was on YouTube, and I thought by being on all these different platforms that somehow my business would get more exposure. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Number one, I didn't have a plan. And number two is there was no way I could manage a presence on all those different platforms and still run a business. So instead of trying to post on every social media platform out there, focus on one or two that will have the most impact for your business. And in order to do that, you need to know your audience. So you need to know where they're spending their time, who are they interacting with in terms of other brands and businesses, what site influences them the most to purchase. In other words, where are they purchasing from? What stores are they following? And who are the biggest influencers in your space and in your industry? And what platforms are they using to showcase their business? And think of it this way. You want to be where your audience is. And if you're publishing on platforms where your audience is not hanging out and they're not frequenting, you're going to end up with no interaction on your content. And most importantly, you'll never reach your ideal customer. So the point is that you want to engage with people that are interested in your product or service, and you can't do that if you're posting primarily on platforms where they don't spend their time. So if you don't know where your audience spends most of their social media time, just ask them. Send an email out to your current customer list and ask them to, what social media platforms do you hang out on? And also ask them, what are the top 3 brands that they follow? What are the top stores that they follow? Get a sense of what their interests are and look at the results and see how you can incorporate that information into your own social media strategy. Another great way to determine where your audience spends their time is to look at the content you've already posted on social media and see what has gotten the biggest response. And when I say response, I mean comments, like, shares. If you just heard crickets and got, 2 or maybe 10 likes on it, then that's probably not a good indicator of a piece of content that your audience particularly liked. And one other thing to consider when choosing your social media platform is what you're selling. So, for example, if you sell physical products, a visual platform like Instagram or Pinterest is probably the best option for you as a primary platform to showcase your business. But if your work is if you're looking to attract other business owners, then LinkedIn may be one platform that you want to make sure that you have a presence on. As you consider which platforms to use, it's essential, like I said before, to think smaller rather than big. It's better to focus on and master 1 or 2 platforms than to constantly post on, 3, 5 different platforms. And the reality is you don't have that kind of time. You're running a business, you're busy with not just your business life, but your home life as well. And you will get the most out of out of one single platform or two single platforms when you spend all of your time and energy and efforts in growing those platforms. And if you're still not sure which platform to focus on, even after surveying your existing audience, you can always fall back on Facebook. Facebook has 2 billion active users. So you can best believe that your target audience and your potential customers are spending some time on Facebook to some degree. And at the end of the day, what matters most is not the particular platform you choose, and not as much as not so much the platform or the fact that you're finding your ideal audience, because you can do all of those things. You could have the right platform, you could have connected with your ideal audience, but if you're not posting and you're not posting consistently, you're not going to get much out of your social media efforts. So pick a platform and stick to it. Post consistently. If you went to a business's social media page and saw that they didn't have a picture, barely had any information about their business, and wasn't very active on social media, would you want to connect with this business? Better yet, would you want to buy from this business? And the answer is probably not. And this is why it's very important to optimize your social media profile. You want to make sure that you always put your best foot forward, because this is this is what's going to draw people to you. You don't want to, and you certainly don't want to push people away. So here are some recommendations to optimize your profile. First, you want a professional username. So ideally, your username needs to be the name of your company or your name. And this, you want to make sure that it's a professional name. The other thing you want to do is differentiate between your personal life and your professional life. And I know you see some people, they merge things together, but when you're just starting out, just kind of create this professional persona for your business and focus on just delivering the value and the type of content that your ideal audience wants to see and hear. And leave the personal stuff for your personal page. The other thing you want to do is you want to keep your username the same across all social networks. So can you imagine if you were ABC Plumbing on Facebook, and then you were ABC Family Inc. on Twitter, and then you were ABC Plumbing Los Angeles on some other platform? That would be extremely confusing for anyone who's trying to look for you, because they don't know who they can't find you. There's so many different variations of your name. So make sure that whatever username you choose, it's consistent across all social media platforms. The next thing you want to do is use a high quality profile photo. And this will either be a photo that you upload of yourself or a logo that you have designed. So just keep in mind, the photo is one of the first things that people see when they click on your social media profile. So make sure it's professional. If you use a photo of yourself, you can do this from your iPhone. Just make sure it's a professional photo, that it's a clean background, and that there's no clutter or distractions behind you. And if you plan to have a logo designed, you can hire a freelance graphic designer on Fiverr or Upwork, and these are freelance platforms that are used by, millions and millions of people. And they can just simply design a logo for you. And logos can run as cheap as $25. And so if you don't have a logo for your company, this is a great way to get started. I would start off with something really, really basic. Be really clear on your instructions and about your design, and you won't have any problems. Typically, make sure you Look at the reviews, of course, but these are great places to get started if you want to have a professionally designed logo. The next thing you want to do is you want to write a compelling about section. So this section is where you tell the story of your business, which is your brand story. It's where you communicate what you're all about and what matters most to you as a company and as a brand. And make your about section both compelling but also concise. You don't want to give your potential readers a novel. And you also want to emphasize what sets you apart from everyone else, because just like you're competing for customers, so is every other business owner on there. So your target audience is fielding basically, your content as well as content from, so many other businesses. So you have to talk about how what sets you apart from everyone else and why is your business different. The other thing you want to do is include links to your website when possible. Links in the bio, links in links that people can find you on other platforms. That way you can let people know all the places you appear online so they can get connected with you. The next thing you want to do is upload a professional cover photo. So cover photos, are required on almost every social media platform, with the exception of Instagram. Instagram is just a logo or a professional photo. But the cover photo spans the top of your social media profile, in case you're wondering what a cover photo is, and it sits behind your profile photo. So like your profile photo, you want your cover photo to be as professional as possible. And so if you have a business slogan or a motto, you definitely want to include that in some way in your cover photo, as well as any other. Sometimes may want to include other social media links if you have them, or information about how people can visit your website. And then on Facebook, they allow for you to upload an actual cover video instead of a photo. So this is a great way for you to create a brand video and upload it to your page. Just make sure that if you use a video, that you create images that look similar. If you plan to use a profile that only allows for images, so that people don't come across your profile and get confused about whether you're the same person on Facebook versus Twitter, for example. The next thing you want to do is you want to enter all of your contact information. The whole purpose of you being able to grow your business on social media is for you to actually find clients, right? So if clients can't contact you, you're not going to do a very good job finding clients. So just make sure that you make it easy as possible for potential customers to contact you. So in the contact section, include as much information as possible. Your business phone number, your email address, your physical address if it's brick and mortar. Don't include your home address if you work from home. And any other ways to contact you. So if you work from home, you definitely want to invest in a P.O. box. And that just gives more credibility for your business when there's an actual address there. You definitely, under no circumstances, want to ever use your home address, but you can always use your P.O. box or an actual brick and mortar address. And you can also invite people to message you directly on the platform as well. The next thing you want to do is you want to be professional. So as you optimize your overall profile, think about how you want to represent yourself and your business online. Your social media profile will be the first touch point for some potential clients and people that have never heard of your company or your brand. And so you want them to see your profile and view it as something, as a professional social media profile. And if your social media profile isn't optimized and doesn't feel professional, there's a good chance you'll turn away potential customers. Okay, so step 3 is create a posting schedule. So now that you've selected a platform that you want to use, you've optimized your social media profile, now it's time to map out how often you'll be posting as well as what you'll post. And you do this by creating a social media calendar. So a social media calendar allows you to kind of plan out what you're going to post at any given period of time. So you can use a calendar for the week, a calendar for the month, or a calendar for the year. So I would suggest if you're just starting off, in social media, that you just kind of focus on maybe the week or the month, because and then the more you do it, the more savvy you'll become, and then you can work your way out to developing content for an entire year. Of course, you'll tweak it along the way if you develop content that far out in advance. So you also, when creating your social media calendar, you want to just ask yourself a few questions, because remember, this is your planning phase for your content. So you want to ask yourself, how often will you post? Now, depending on the platform, that will dictate how often you post. So, a platform like your Facebook page, maybe you want to post at least a minimum of once a week. I recommend a little bit more frequent on Facebook, maybe 3 to 5 times a week. And then on Instagram, maybe you want to post every day. And on Twitter, you have to post your tweets, several times a day if you're in the process of being noticed. So, a bigger thing for you to think about is not so much as how often you post, but making sure that you pick a schedule so you can be consistently posting. And I think the word consistent is key, because if you focus too much on, well, I need to post every day, that may be overwhelming for you. So don't feel like you have to post every day if that's really not feasible for you. So if you must post once a week, then post once a week. And just consistently post once a week, so that your followers can stay engaged with your content and they know when to expect your content. The next thing you want to think about is what kind of formats you want to use. So, in other words, you don't just want to just post images. You want to post videos, you want to post polls, you want to post quizzes, you want to use stories. You want to use every resource available to you on the social media platform to showcase your business. And this way you give your audience an opportunity to engage with you using these different formats. So what sort of content will you post? That's another question you'd want to ask yourself. And it basically boils down to your business. What kind of business do you have? And that actually shapes the content that you post. So let's say you're a life coach. You may want to regularly share inspirational messages, and help people, uplift people in some way. Give DIY tips, maybe for self-care. If you're a health practitioner, you may want to post daily health tips that could be incredible, that could help someone with a particular diet, or help someone with a particular health issue. And if you're struggling to figure out what to post, you can hire a company that does all of this for you, including creating content and posting on a consistent schedule. And when I say hire a company, Marketing Gem Solutions, which is my company, is a social media management company. So we would be happy to manage the content, manage your pages for you, and take the stress out of it. Or you can simply create a social media calendar using the tips you learned in the workshop today. So don't make creating a calendar so daunting. What you want to think about is, the fact that by creating this content in advance, you're basically, laying out a framework for your social media content. And using a social media calendar it not just helps you stay consistent with your posting, but it takes the hard work out of figuring out what to post. The other thing that a social media calendar helps with is it forces you to be active on social media. So that concludes, creating a plan for your social media page. In other words, creating a posting schedule. And it boils down to planning and establishing a social media calendar. And you don't need to make this complicated. Just simply get out a calendar for the month and start planning. You can print. There's so many printable calendars, and you can just start planning your content. Each day, think of a different topic that you want to focus on for that day, and choose one day to plan and another day to kind of actually create. And you'll find that once you get into a consistent groove, you'll be able to be an expert at this in no time. Okay, step 4, begin posting on social media. So now you know what social media platform to use, you've optimized your social media profile, and you've planned out your content in terms of what topics you're going to focus on each day. Now it's time to actually create your post to post on social media. So if you want to win new clients and satisfy your existing ones, you have to produce valuable content. You have to. Because if you don't, they're just going to tune you out. They're going to scroll right past you and they won't follow you, or they'll unfollow you if they're already following you. So it's not just so much that you just want to post just to get a post to say you're active. It's about trying to provide your audience with high value information that will help them live their best life with your products or services. And each post should be helpful in some way to your audience. So your post should help your audience to either think about something in a new way, take action like they never have, laugh or smile, or learn something valuable. Again, this goes back to knowing your audience. And if you know your audience well, you know what they will find most valuable. And if you don't, you'll struggle to post things that they connect with. So consider posting, things like tips and strategies about your industry or whatever it is that your service or product solves. Think about tutorial videos and infographics, live videos, pictures that will motivate your audience. And you do this by first thinking about your product or service and then thinking about what solution you provide to people. And when you think about things in terms of the solution you offer to people, it'll be a lot easier for you to come up with tips and strategies, tutorials, infographics, and live videos and different pictures that motivate people. You definitely have to take the time to know your audience. And so let's say that you're a health and wellness coach, as an example. And you may want to produce content that focuses on tips about eating healthier, teaching people what the maximum amount of sodium they should have in a day, or teaching people how to, in the warning signs for certain health conditions, or how to prevent certain health conditions, how to eat a healthier diet, or how to select the best diet for your lifestyle. Whatever it is related to health related content are things you want to think about in terms of what solutions can you provide to people. And when creating your content calendar and posting on social media, before you hit the post button, ask, is this adding value to my audience? And if it is, post it. And if you don't think it will add value to your audience, then don't post it. Because the minute you post something that people don't like, they don't resonate with, or they feel offended by, they will unfollow you. And if you're not sure which types of content add the most value to your audience, you want to try experimenting with different formats like we talked about in the previous step. You might find that videos perform better than photos, or that your audience really likes tutorials. Just simply test out a variety of different formats. And I know you're thinking, I don't have time to constantly post. The good thing is that you don't have to, spend all your time on social media. You can use tools like Buffer, Hootsuite, and tons of others to post for you. And Marketing Gym Solutions is here for you as well. But when you use tools to post for you, you can schedule things out weeks in advance, even months in advance. And Facebook has its own built-in scheduler, so you can schedule your content out a month in advance as well. So consider using your social media calendar in conjunction with one of these tools. And by scheduling a significant number of social media posts in advance, you can save yourself tons and tons of hours. Here we are at step 5, engage with your followers. So it's not enough to simply post on social media and then go on your way, thinking that you will get all of these followers, thousands upon thousands of followers. Social media is just that. It's a social platform. So that is the case whether you're on there to engage with friends and family or whether you're on there for business purposes. Social media is for you to build social connections with people online. And the real power of social media is that it creates conversations between you and your followers. At least it should create conversations. Conversations are the key to getting more clients through social media. And it is important to regularly, consistently engage with your followers by responding to their comments, answering their questions, and solving challenges and more. And all of this is in addition to providing them with some great content. Social media is not a one-way street. It's a conversation between you and those that are following you because essentially you're speaking to them through your posts. So if you want to build relationships and gain clients through social media, you need to have conversations, not just publishing content. And one of the things that matters most is when it comes to social media is that you feel authentic to people. You don't want to come across as a huge corporation or only after the sale. You want people to genuinely connect to you. And authenticity is attractive to people, and the more authentic you are, the more people that will be attracted to you. Another reason to engage with your followers is that social media platforms tend to prioritize the posts with the most engagement. So the posts with the most likes, comments, shares, and overall engagement get shown more frequently than those posts with little to no engagement. And if you want to get your post seen by as many people as possible, then you absolutely must engage with your followers on a regular basis. So you need to talk to your followers, create conversations, have conversations, answer questions in a timely manner. Facebook actually gives you a rating for your response time to customers. And you also need to respond to any problems that are raised as well. So rather than talking at your audience, your goal is to talk with them and as much as possible to create real relationships. And what are some ways that you can create conversations with your followers? Well, you can ask questions, you can do live videos in which you talk directly with your audience and allow some Q&A. You can conduct polls, you can ask people to comment on a particular subject. You can make statements that will get people talking. Just be careful about being controversial. So you want to stay away from things like politics, religion, government policies, things like that. Because when you talk about those issues, you will attract people that believe the same way you believe, but you'll turn away and turn off all the other people that don't have your same views. And focus on being as real and authentic as possible on social media, and you're guaranteed to create conversations with your followers. So, now it's time to move to step 6. Follow the right people. Social media isn't just about getting people to follow you. It's about following the right people and having conversations with them. And so in step 6, let's talk about following the right people. So one of the things you want to do is kind of sit down and really think about your industry and think about who are the industry leaders and who are the fluent influencers in your industry. And so when you're also thinking about your industry, think about the service you provide. Is it a local service? Is it a national service? Can you serve people in other countries? And really compile a list of who these industry leaders are and who the leaders are in your field, and those are the people you want to follow. A lot of times people tend to follow the same people, their colleagues, essentially their competition. And that's not necessarily going to bring you potential clients. You want to actually position yourself in front of people that could potentially see your posts, comment on, or see your comments, learn more about you, and purchase your products and services. And the only way you can do that is by thinking about before you follow someone, is this someone that can potentially bring me a referral? I'm not saying 100% of your follow list should just be potential clients or potential referrers, but the majority of your follow lists need to be people that are actually interested in buying or buying your product or service. So, for example, if you're a real estate agent, you're obviously serving a very local area. So you'd want to focus on following influencers in your local area. That could be politicians, local news that's unique to your area. And also those neighborhood staples, that are in your community. Local restaurants, local hair salons, barber shops, local schools. Get connected to the community. And don't just connect, but also contribute. So comment on the post, repost, share things that could be useful to your followers. The other thing you want to do is join groups. Facebook and LinkedIn are the perfect platforms to find some great groups to join in just about any industry you can imagine. And don't just join the groups, but engage in the conversations and try to help others. In other words, you just want to be a useful resource. And one thing you want to note is, what are some of the common themes that are coming up as you engage in these groups? What are people talking about? What are the problems that they're experiencing? And take these common themes and turn them into content for your own social media pages. And the other thing you want to make note of is what sort of content is getting the most engagement. And by engagement, I mean comments, shares, likes. And that is the kind of content you want to be sharing with your audience as well. So take advantage of these platforms and just kind of focus heavily on answering questions in the groups that you join, and answer questions that come up in as people post different things. Make sure you just engage with people in a very authentic way, and you'll find that people will start to engage back with you. So I also want you to make note of platforms like Quora and Reddit. Those are also ways for you to contribute and offer information to people as they ask different questions, and just see how you can build relationships and provide value. And again, Quora, just like the other groups and platforms, they don't, you can get kicked out if you become too overly promotional, or you'll just simply turn people off. So help people with their challenges, give advice, and work to build relationships online. And that is simply how you find the followers. So let's hop over to step 7, use hashtags. So hashtags are words with the number symbol before them. So for example, hashtag Monday motivation, hashtag CrossFit life, hashtag chiropractic care, hashtag vegan. Hashtags are used as a way of grouping posts by subject on social media platforms. And if you add a hashtag to a post, it will be grouped with all the other posts people have made using that particular hashtag. So if you see a post with a hashtag, you can click on that hashtag and see all the other posts with the same hashtag. For example, if you clicked on CrossFit Life, you would see all the other posts people created about this topic. And if they use the same the CrossFit Life hashtags. Some sites, such as Twitter, highlight the most popular hashtags, giving you a sense of what's trending at any given time. But you have to keep in mind that changes almost hourly, what's popular. So you can also follow hashtags on platforms like Instagram, so that you regularly see posts with a particular hashtag. The power of hashtags is that they allow you to get your content in front of a broader audience. And the reason you want to get your content in front of a broader audience, because although you have, however many followers you have, not all of them see your content. In fact, only a small percentage will actually see your content. So the more you post, the more hashtags you use, the broader your audience will be. So how exactly do you use hashtags? Typically, it works like this. You create a social media post at the end, and at the end of the post, you add a hashtag that is somehow related to the post. So, for example, let's say I'll use the health coach example again, and you want to post a tip related to CrossFit workouts. You would create a post, and then at the end of the post, you'll put your hashtags, and it might look something like this. Before you do any CrossFit workout, spend at least 10 minutes getting warmed up and stretched out. Hashtag CrossFit life, and hashtag CrossFit workout. And notice that you can add multiple hashtags to a post. In fact, Instagram allows you to add up to 30 hashtags to your post. And each platform is different in terms of how many hashtags you can add. And you just have to keep in mind that there are space limitations as well. Twitter is the perfect example of that when you're adding hashtags. So you also have to factor that in. So one thing you want to be careful about when you're using hashtags is you don't want to use hashtags that aren't related to what you're posting. So you don't want to piss people off and where they're following CrossFit hashtag and they're looking for content related to CrossFit, and you're posting something else about your product or service that's totally unrelated to CrossFit. So as much as possible, keep your hashtags just related to what you're posting or about your industry in general. And there are a number of websites that can help you find the right hashtags to use with your social media posts. These include All Hashtags, Seek Metrics, Tailwind, Instagrammer, and so many more. There's tons of apps out there. But I want to caution you to avoid those oversaturated hashtags, the ones that are in the millions. Just because you're choosing a hashtag that's been used so much doesn't give you greater reach. In fact, you want to kind of diversify your hashtags and use hashtags across the spectrum. In other words, you want to have some hashtags that are maybe anywhere from 5,000 to 50,000, or 50,000 to 100,000, and then maybe 100 to 500,000, and then 500,000 to 1 million. Once you're looking at the 1 million mark, maybe include one or two hashtags if you're planning on using the whole 30 as a part of the overall mix. So, so that is hashtags. So let's talk about our step 8, which is experimenting with your content. And this is the home stretch. So step 8, experimenting with different types of content. So if you really and truly want to succeed on social media, you'll need to experiment to see what works best. And so different types of content will resonate with your audience. So you may find that videos work really well, while inspirational quotes don't perform as well. Or you may find that asking questions generates a lot of discussions, but polls fall flat. Experimenting with different types of content is critical since social media platforms are constantly changing. That's why it's so important for you to pay attention to what your industry leaders, what's doing well for your industry leaders as well as the influencers in your industry as well. And currently, Facebook gives preference to posts that keep people on their site. So if you're posting videos, that or that keep the viewer on Facebook, those are going to be shown to more people. Facebook's going to show that content to more people, whereas if you post things that lead people off of the platform, they're less likely to show that content. So that's just a tip for you to keep in mind when you're planning out your content, because Facebook wants to keep people engaged on their platform, and they don't want to help you send your viewers off to other platforms. So constantly testing to see what works is most effective. And as you test, you'll discover what adds the most value to your audience. And then you can post more of this type of content, which will generate significantly more engagement. And it just ends up being this big cycle that helps you connect with more and more people on social media. So, are you ready to grow your business using social media? Because the advantages of using social media are enormous. And with social media, you can attract new clients, build your brand, establish yourself as a thought leader, connect with new audiences, create meaningful relationships, connect with other influencers, and so much more. Thankfully, it's not particularly complicated to get started building your business through social media. Simply follow the 8-step process that I laid out for you throughout this workshop, which was choose your social media platform, optimize your social media profile, create a posting schedule using a social media calendar, and start posting on social media. And also when you're posting on social media, don't forget to add a call to action. And engage with your followers and follow the right people. And use hashtags and use a considerable number of them and use them correctly. And experiment with what works and what doesn't work, so you know what your audience likes to see. And you don't need to be intimidated by social media. Even if you've never consistently posted on a platform, you can get started today. You can easily start building your business through the power of social media, as long as you have a plan in place and a strategy and you're consistent. So don't wait any longer. There are clients out there just waiting for you to find them. So with that being said, that is the end of our workshop. So as I mentioned before, Marketing Gym Solutions focuses on working with business owners, particularly with social media management. So if you'd like to book a free consultation and see how we can work together to create a powerful social media strategy for you, it's, why not book a free call with us? It's absolutely free, zero risk and zero obligation to you. And we'll analyze your current strategy and come up with some powerful tips to help you with your social media plan. So to book a call, first take a screenshot of the slide and then head over to calendly.com/marketing gym solutions. So I hope you got tons of value from this workshop.